We can start the webinar. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining in. We'll wait a couple of minutes for everyone to join in and settle in, and then we'll be starting with the webinar for today. So I think we can start as we have a good strength of members joining in now. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining in today's webinar. I welcome all the speakers and the moderator to the session. So today's session will talk about how AI is helping in business development, agility in business development. For this, we have Vidhushi Kapoor. She is the co-founder of Process 9 Technologies, and she's based out of Gurgaon. She's also an esteemed member of NASSCOM SME Council, and also an evident part of the council, and kind of collaborates with the council in every way possible. Hi, good afternoon, Vidushi. Great to have you here today. I'll request Vidushi to take the lead ahead and introduce our speakers for today, and then take the discussion ahead. For everyone, the questions will be answered at the end of the webinar, so I'll request everyone to put in their Q&As in the Q&A box, and then we'll take up it after the session is ended. So Vidushi, over to you.
Thank you, Jagrati, and good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome. I think today's topic, which has been in a series of discussions for our SME members, dives into a very crucial topic. For B2B SMEs, especially in the ITS sector, the whole world is a potential market. And this makes marketing a very important weapon in our arsenal. Staying competitive and growing means evolving quickly. And with the advent of AI, marketing mantras have taken a new leap. There is just so much more that can be done with the power of AI. That on the one hand, it seems like a very exciting time to be in this space. But on the other hand, it can also feel very daunting and confusing because there is just so much more that we can do. So today, I'm quite confident that with our two esteemed panelists, we can unravel some mysteries and find some method to this madness around AI and marketing. So let me go ahead and introduce our two speakers. Our first panelist, Ms. Suhasini Kirloskar, is an entrepreneur and co-founder of Market Access Consulting and B2B Growth Essentials, working in marketing strategies, services, and training for B2B brands. She's also the Pune director of Kiratsu Forum, a global network of angel investors with chapters in over 20 countries. So Hasini's courses on Udemy have students from over 55 countries and extremely positive reviews. Until December of 2015, Suhasini worked as Chief of Marketing at GS Lab. Prior to this, she was the UK Trade and Investment Director, British Trade Office Pune, part of the British High Commission India, where her primary focus was to attract high quality inward investments into the UK. Sorry, my system seems to be messing up a little. Okay. So Suhasini has an MBA from NMIMS, and she was awarded one of the 100 most influential marketing technology leaders at the World Marketing Congress held in Mumbai in December 2015. Her hobbies include painting, digital art, and tending to cats. Our second speaker, Mr. Nilesh Shuke, is an IIT Roorkee alumnus and the founder and CEO of Nickel Fox Technologies, an ITS company specializing in rapid time-to-market solutions for startups to Fortune 500 companies. Nilesh oversees business growth and leads AI initiatives at Nickel Fox. Welcome to both of you. Let's get started.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Hasni, let me just start off with you. B2B marketing, like everything else, is ever evolving, as I just mentioned. So, what are some of the biggest changes you've seen in the past few years in this space, and what should businesses be really paying close attention to in today's times?
Thanks a lot for that lovely introduction and question, Vidushi, and thank you to NASSCOM and Jagrati for this wonderful opportunity to interact with all. I'm going to be sharing my screen to just take you all through some of what I think are the biggest changes. So So these are what I think are the most significant changes in B2B marketing. Now, to kind of take you all through this, I'd like to discuss a concept called brand touch points, because a prospect may visit your website or may read your LinkedIn post or may see your booth at a trade fair, and all these are points at which the prospect has touched your brand. It's my observation that over the years, the number of branding touch points that are required to convert a contact into a lead, into a qualified lead in B2B marketing has increased over the years. Now, I don't see much research giving the exact number, but I do see some experts estimating that maybe it's 8 to 12 touch points before a contact becomes a qualified lead. And so if you sent an email and you didn't get a lead, don't worry, you may need to create 6 more touch points before you do. Then before that lead becomes a customer, there are some reports that estimate the number is as high as 50 branding touch points. What makes it more complex is that today these touch points zigzag between digital and in-person interactions. So the person, as I said, may visit your booth at a trade show, which is in person, or may visit your website or LinkedIn and so on. So that brings me to my second point. The role of marketing today really is to manage all these branding touch points effectively so that contacts become qualified leads and more leads become customers and more customers become brand advocates. Now, if you think about marketing in this way, it's a very unified view of marketing, because in some organizations, marketing is all about communication and PR. In another one, it's all about demand generation, lead generation, while for others, it's all about managing relationships. But actually, all these are very unified because they're all different brand touch points that take people down the sales funnel into become, as I said, customers or advocates. And that brings me to my third point, that marketing is just drowning in data, because as you can imagine, there's data generated at each touch point, rich insights to be culled out from it. So there's so much data that marketing folks are, would struggle to make sense. And then because you have so much data, there's so many tasks that need to be done, based on the insights from that data. And that brings me to what I'd like to close by saying that in this context, AI can become the superpower that enables marketing not just to make sense of these large volumes of data, but execute the thousands of tasks, or maybe even more than that, the number of tasks that need to be executed. And I think that sets the tone for our discussion. And with that, I'll just hand it over back to you.
Thank you, Sahasni. I think that was very succinct and very punchy way of talking about the reality that we have today. And you are right, it is just so, it can be so overwhelming because the number of touch points has really expanded for businesses. So thank you. Let me come now to you, Nilesh, and perhaps you could shed some light on the department that always has a love-hate relationship with marketing, and that is sales. Um, Sales team are also facing a lot of pressure to deliver results in a fast-paced environment of today. So from your perspective, what are some of the key challenges that they're facing, and how have you tackled them personally in your journey?
Okay, thank you, Rishi, and thank you, Shanisti, for really setting up the marketing sales leads for marketing. So, so of course, once we have marketing set, then only we comes to sale. So when we talk about sales, I think we are only talking about B2B sales here, and this is what I assume that most of you are trying to figure out, and which we were trying to figure out maybe 6 months back or a year back, I would say. The biggest challenge I think we felt was making sense of the madness. I think, Vidushi, you mentioned that this AI fuzz around what to do, what not to do, what can be done, whether it is will be good in terms of ROI. So sales always thinks of what is my effort for a conversion of a lead. and of course, eventually profitability. So eventual ROI is very, very important. So whenever we talk about using AI in B2B sales, the key question I think we faced was, what will be my ROI? How will I figure out before doing it anything? And there are so many tools available, how to figure out which one are the best one, or whether I should be even going ahead right now in my business for any sales kind of any AI strategy, or probably I'm good at. And the other challenge was probably most of the sales people or sales team, they are not very AI savvy. So there we also face a lot of I would say slight resistance in terms of adoption, or maybe in thought bringing that how probably there could be a solution which is AI driven, but whether you should use it or not. The instinct always sometimes comes that I should use it manually, because that is probably the quickest outcome I can get. So those are the two I think the main challenges we faced. Vidushi, you would want to me to go through the entire my presentation, or we want to come back to it again later?
We'll probably circle back to that, Nilesh, in
Okay.
just a while. So, you both have, I think, set the context very well. So let's just switch gears now and move straight into, deep diving for AI and marketing. Over the last few years, AI has become a lot more than a buzzword, and it's really starting to become an integral part of most of our business functions, and especially marketing and sales have saw some of the earliest use cases of AI, if we could see. For SMEs, this itself can feel very overwhelming. How really to navigate this landscape and just identifying what is working and what is perhaps just noise. So, Hasni, let me come back to you and ask you exactly this question. Is AI the solution to all our marketing problems, or is it just more hype than substance?
All our problems. Okay, that's an interesting one. I'm going to share my screen again. And before I share my perspective, sorry, I would like to ask our audience, what do they feel? So according to me, most of us today fall into one of these three groups. Category one, those who may not be trusting AI, have some deep apprehensions, haven't tried it, or have just not bothered to try it. Either they have apprehensions or they haven't bothered to try it. Haven't even experimented with common tools like ChatGPT or Midjourney or any of the others. So if you are in group one, you can say one. Two is for those who have used some common tools like ChatGPT, but are not aware of how specifically AI can be applied for their work objectives. And group three are those of us who are really excited about the capabilities of AI and have already implemented some cool AI applications at work. So do let us know. This is a very interesting, I would say, data point for us, because there's more than 100 of you there, and we would love to know where you are on this journey. Coming to my own belief, I believe AI has tremendous potential to make marketing more effective. It's not the answer to all our questions. We still need smart human beings for that. But AI is a game changer for sales and marketing. So I'd like to say that AI gives us capabilities that are beyond anything we had before. We've seen a lot of things like before this, a wave of data analytics, business intelligence, so many others. I just saw a question, tell us how AI can specifically help us. Yes, I do have a list of that. It's coming in just a bit. So why is AI marketing superpower? It gives us the power to analyze large volumes of data, but in depth. And I will share some examples of this. It helps us to garner insights from this data in a very nuanced manner. For example, now we can understand the emotion or sentiment of social media posts and not just the number of brand mentions. We did have, for example, a lot of data analytics tools before AI. But the challenge was that to really apply those learnings from analytics required thousands of tasks to be executed. But AI gives us a way not to just analyze, but also to execute. We can now execute tasks at speeds and volumes that were practically impossible before. May not be technically impossible, but practically. So let me give you an example. If I'm your marketing manager and I say that, to run Google ads, give me a team of 50 people, to analyze our ad campaigns and our competing ad campaigns, there's probably no way you would approve. But now I can practically get the work of 50 people done using AI tools. I must point out that marketing folks depend on finding the right point solutions, which is the point which Nilesh was making about deciding, which of those point solutions or which of those challenges is going to give you the best ROI, because we are dependent on finding the right point solutions. Because when we say AI is capable of this and that, we can't simply deploy AI, directly. We don't know how to do that. We need to identify the appropriate AI tools or build the appropriate AI tools to make this happen. So if you read up, all the top consulting organizations in the world, they give very, very high level generic stuff that, oh, with AI you can segment your customers and lots of things like that. But how? So we can only do that when we identify the right point solutions. And I have a list of specific areas which someone asked, but I will hand it over back to you, Vidushi, and you can let me know when I should go ahead with that.
Oh, please do continue, Suhasini. Tell us more about them.
Okay, so as I said, we can now do things that we didn't have the capability of doing before. But to be able to do this, marketing has to identify suitable point solutions. And I'll go forward with a few use cases, which is what I just saw a question from someone, of some specific objectives. And I would invite our participants to tell us if they have experimented with any of these purposes, or if they have used AI for other objectives. Do please let us know in the chat. So I've just got a few examples here. Let's start with Google Ads. And I'm very happy at this point to give a shout out to an AI product and a Make in India AI product. And they're not paying me anything for saying this. So this is a product called Inaways. I will put here in the chat so that you have the spelling, so that you can look at it later on your own. I think it's a Make in Pune product, so double proud for me, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know if the founder is here, but yeah, it's really nice that people from our community, people just like us, they are coming up with these great tools. So that's why I'd like to give a shout out to this. So coming to the first point, optimize ad spends to reduce the cost of acquisition. Now, when you want to research the keywords that your target audience may be using to search for setting up Google ad campaigns, this is a tool that provides you far deeper insights along with context than we ever had with some ordinary method like Google Keyword Planner. It also gives you an analysis of the keywords that your competitors are using. You have much more information now. But then it goes beyond that to suggest the text for hundreds of versions of Google Ads, because now we have generative AI, right? And then for those ads to be effective, you need matching landing pages. And the same tool, Inaways, the same platform, provides the content for those landing pages. So it's like one tool which can replace a considerably large team and a host of other different tools that you would have otherwise been using. So that's just the first example. Yeah. And next we look at one more. Yeah, spell the name of the tool. I put it in the chat Inaways. The second one, we are all familiar with this, AI-powered bots for customer service to enhance customer satisfaction and reduce time to resolve issues or to reply to sales leads. We've seen, I think all of us remember that we are getting better and better responses to using these kind of bots now over the years. They've been around for a while now, maybe I think 5 to 6 years. But yes, they are getting better. There is a video I watched today, a comedy video, and I'm very sure it's going to go viral. And many of you may have seen it today, or you will see it in the next few days. But I will not get into the video right now, but it just says that AI was just stealing our jobs, and now it's also stealing our wives. So yeah, that's the power of service bots. And it's a very interesting one. That video is very interesting. I'm sure all of you will see it in the next few days. It's bound to go viral, so I'll not get into it. So yeah, very, I'm not going much into the bots aspect because we've all kind of experienced it from the very basic chat bots that were just like more like FAQs, but now they're getting able to understand more nuanced questions and respond. And then I'm going to talk about unlocking the value of your CRM data. Again, here I'd like to give a shout out to another Make in India product. And I'm going to put the spelling here once again. So it's, this is the product. So, many of us have thousands of contacts in our CRM, but we are not able to leverage all of them effectively. And how would you feel if I told you that of the 10,000 contacts in your CRM, 3,000 of them have changed jobs? They're now in new organizations. You don't know how to contact them, but they may know you. They may have been your customers before and possibly could become buyers for you in their new roles. So this tool, canlet.io, enables you to track their movements, find their correct new contacts, and then automate, the sending the whole outreach to them. Canlet.io not working. Apologies for that. I'll just check if I have got the name wrong, but or is it .canlet.ai? I'm sorry, I'll just check on that. Yeah. And finally, we come to a place which is my fourth point, which is evolving very fast. All of us have tried the regular writing tools such as ChatGPT, Copilot. But beyond that, content creation using videos, using images, and that is actually really given a great momentum to content creation, content marketing. Now, I'd like to mention that we had some apprehension, those of us in content marketing, we had some apprehension about using AI generated content for SEO and social media because we were not sure whether Google would rank this content high and whether it would give us the social media engagement we need. But I read research only 2 days ago that AI generated content is actually helping SEO as well as social media engagement because the ability to create things consistently and publish consistently is very valuable in this cluttered space. So I'll just end with that. And I will, apologies about Canlet. I will just check if it is canlet.ai and not canlet.io. I'll put the right link here. So yeah, I hope that gave some insights.
I think that was very, very informative. And thank you for sharing, not just names, but Make in India or Indian companies doing great work here. So I think that was a very interesting and useful piece of information. Um, Moving to you, Nilesh, you are someone who has gone through this very interesting journey of adopting AI in your marketing practices and making it do wonders for you. So, if you could perhaps give the audience a glimpse of your journey and possibly help other organizations and their marketing divisions understand the paths of choosing and adopting the right AI, determining ROIs and such.
Yeah, thank you, Rishi, for asking. I think, yes, after Shuhansini's work is done, the leads actually come to salespeople to convert. But as you all know, B2B sales is not very easy. Even finding leads is probably we can solve, then converting is itself an in-house job. So what I'm going to share is rather tools. I would want to share a process which we applied onto ourselves, and then first the theory, and then I will go back and share how actually we implemented based on the theory which we have acquired, right? And I think all of you, 100 plus people, I think we were at the same place once. I was attending a lot of webinars and getting to know what to do, what not to do, how to make sense of all these things. But because of that curiosity, I think we got the initial steps right. So I will share the presentation, and in the journey, I will share how we started, what our thoughts were, and eventually I will share what we did and what were the outcomes for us. I'm sure it will be different for you, the process, but the thought will remain. So from that note, I will just share. Let me know, Rishi, if you can see my screen.
Yes,
Is it
it is
visible?
now present mode. Yes.
Okay, great. So I'll be talking about B2B sales. Of course, B2C sales are very different. So presumably, I hope that all of you are looking forward for that. So to the very start, I think before you start, you need to know that uh, any problem you are trying to solve through AI, right? If you get the problem wrong, then your outcome will definitely be wrong. So at what point you can say that, okay, this is the problem I'm going to solve, and this is exactly what my business needed to be solved. Until unless you talk to the people who are working at the last level in your sales process, you would not know. And what we figured out that there was some resistance because everyone was thinking, if I share what I'm going through and the problems which I'm trying to solve, and if an AI comes and solve it, probably my job is gone and I may not be needed. So the first thing we did was we had a very open and frank conversation with everyone in the team, aligned them that if we are not going to use AI right now in our process, probably our competitors will be using in any which ways, we all going to lose all together at the same time. So why don't we figure out how to use that, how to like everything, like if you use it, probably we'll grow much faster and we'll all be together. So the first point was really taking everyone that it will be a learning journey, and the willingness of the owners who are the team members, as team members, project managers, or the owners of your companies. I think it's up to you to really align and make sure that your team is at least feeling secure to take the initial first steps. Because if the first steps are, you said dagmaga rahe honge agar, so then your foundations will be weak, and eventually whatever you build, it will just cost you a lot of money or a lot of time. Either ways, you will be in losses. So the first thing we did was we spoke to our team, right? And then once we align our team to that process, that okay, we are on this journey all together. There will be a learning process, learning curve, and we are okay with it. Then they start to come up with a lot of the problems which I personally thought these are solved already. Why do we need to solve these? Because these are solved. But then we figured out they are facing fundamental some different problems which I am totally was unaware. So identifying the challenges, which we did that, and we did that to the point where we broken down into the smallest bits and pieces. Even one step, if somebody is facing a problem, we document it. So we started to identify, document, and break down into smaller ones. Not like that my email marketing is not working, right? Or probably my sales mail are not going in the going in spam or something. So breaking it out small, like in the smallest chunk, what were the problems were. Then, of course, when we identified, we started to categorize that some of the problems were very, very simple, and we don't need to build your own AI agents or AI, solutions. Rather, use existing tools like, creating a good presentation or transcribing the conversation, sales conversation which we have with our clients. There are a lot of tools available, even writing mails and all. So we found that some people, team members were thinking that if I use AI generated mail, my mails will be going to spam. This was one of the problems. So when we started to talk, then I think this was solved. Then other thing is, if we do not have any data for a problem which you think you will be solving, but there is no past historic data, then probably thinking that I'll be using AI to solve it, I think it is not going to work. AI needs data, your records, and whatever past and you have done to basically start giving you some results. So if you don't have a data, I think you should start at least working on a strategy where you start collating the data for that thing before you end up to a solution. And then for some problems, you will probably have a lot of ample amount of data. Like for example, you'll be using you're already having CRM or ERP. We can get those data easily, but then though that data can be used. So we categorize these problems into three different things. Simplest problem, chunk it down and figure out what are the best tools. The data for some problems, we don't have any data. And the third one, which we thought, okay, there is data and there is also a big problem. Then comes the next thing, evaluating which problems to solve. That again is a big challenge. I think at least it was for us that first of all figuring out what are the problems which are causing, like if they potentially get solved, what is the impact they're gonna generate. So probably we wanted to solve something else, but when I spoke and we collectively discussed, we figured out problem X versus Y was giving more impact to the entire process, right? So the impact we figured out. Of course, cost will come later when we were trying to figure out how to solve those problems. But then first is identifying the impact. We practically ranked every one of them in an order of impact. Some of the problems were very, very like, they were having not like maybe mediocre impact, but were very easy to solve. Then we shifted it up. Like for example, just AI generated transcription of the calls, right? Then we also thought, what are the costs available? So from my experience, I would say any proof of concept you want to try, any simplest one, consider that a average level developers, 1 man-month effort or cost will be required. So whatever it is for you, you can get some estimate. Even if you want to try some some experimentation, this is the cost, like cost you can expect to start with, right? As a proof of concept. Then there are a lot of models which are available. People are talking about, I'll use, Lambda model, or maybe open source model, or maybe some paid ones. But most of the time, I would say a simple technique called retrieval augmented generation. So whenever your developers are starting to work on the POC, please ask them to go through, and I'm sure they will learn. But most of the time, having a RAG actually solves a lot of the problems rather than creating or going through any custom models, right? So we know that, Hugging Face, AI and all, they give a lot of models. But then whenever you have your own model, there is an infrastructure cost. And that cost goes into, it can be as huge as having even like 100 GBs of RAM available to run the. We don't have that infra, right, available. So most of the time when you go deeper, RAG solves most of the problem, especially when it comes to sales, because we are trying to collate some data and try to get some meaningful data out of it, right, through AI. Then again, one more question. Again, sometimes whether even if you know how to solve, should you be trying to figure out an AI solution of it? So that we like in our case, we figured out if the process itself is inefficient and we are trying to solve that through an AI thing, I think that's not going to work. When we were identifying the problem, we also figured out a lot of the process were probably rudimentary and it has not been properly implemented. So first we did it was like really implemented the mature processes. And we also figured out having manual work there and maybe simply automating it to some bit was more efficient than figuring out an AI solution. So it's a kind of a pros and cons you have to judge. But please have in mind that not everything have to be solved through AI only right now, because we cannot even remove the manual input. Then again, check everything. Whatever projects you are doing, whatever POCs you are doing, please do not rely completely on the outputs. AI works on a fuzzy logic, right? So right now, in whatever tools we have developed, I think the manual review is still required, and we will also want to have some confidence over the outputs we are going to use in our processes. So for us, at this level, when we are not using a pre-built pipeline tool, which is very costly, then whatever we are building, please do not rely completely to derive your decisions. Now, with this, I come to what we have done internally at Nickel Fox and to improve our sales. So I would say we found out after talking to our teams, we also give them basic training. Of course, not everything can be taught. So I think NASCOM already has Future Skills Prime as their portal. There are some free courses available, and there is in Coursera there is a basic course by Andrew Ng for OpenAI and generative AI. I think we asked everyone to go through them. Even if somebody who was already using AI, we found out they got some bit which they were probably not doing right. So it's okay to tell your team members to at least take 2-3 hours to please go back and again review these simple courses. Then again, as I said, we also documented everything. So our process got documented, the challenges got identified, and what we figured out was, I think our response time for the sales team was very, very low, or probably there was a huge margin on which we could improve. So out of all the problems, we could say, if we can just improve our response time, probably this client would have been closed because the competitor already got it by the time we prepared a good response, right? So we thought, okay, for those problems, set of problems which can help us reduce the time of response, we will tackle them first. And again, moving ahead, I'll just go through a simple, like in general, what happens in the B2B sales process. We generally pitch with our case studies or a simple, what we do. Then eventually there are some calls and meetings which happen iteratively to understand the requirements. Then probably you will prepare some estimates or whatever your proposals are. And based on those estimates, you will go and prepare your detailed proposals. And even then eventually closure happens. This is more or less a B2B sales process goes like, and we also are doing the same thing, right? So, and we started using, like, of course, if you're using Teams, automatic generated transcriptions are available. So we started to record, we were already recording these calls with the permission of our clients. We started to transcribe all of these calls. And we used all these transcribed calls to generate the minutes of the meeting. Because we figured out that sometimes even after the call is happening, 24 hours or maybe for 4 or 5 hours it takes just to reply because the team is busy in doing some things and other than that. So what we done is we used AI tools to transcribe the calls and then quickly generated the minutes of the meeting, just saving some time there. That was one. We also figured out that many of the time the requirements were not very clear on the call. So transcription and then minutes of the meeting were not very in sync. So what we have done manually is like we asked our sales team to also repeat whatever their understanding was at the end, so that the transcription is very clean. And then eventually when we give the transcription to any tool to create minutes of the meeting or summary, it just gives a very beautiful summary at the end. We can just quickly send it just after some manual tweaks. Then again, after that, we thought that there is a pitch. In our case, once we understand, we also share our relevant case studies and what we have done, what kind of work we have done in the past. So in that case, we figured out that in the past we have done almost like 300 plus projects with different clients, and sometimes the salespeople were struggling to figure out, okay, what are the 5, 6 key projects I would showcase in my pitch. Otherwise, I can just say share some generic information, but that is where we thought we have data. We have almost, I would say, a lot of data, and there was a challenge in terms of figuring out what to present to whom, which client which case studies will be relevant, and that is where we figured out, okay, we can build an AI agent. And this is where exactly what we have done. The outcome we expected were that if a salesperson just query, provide me with the summary, problem, and solution of the top 3 or the last 3 healthcare projects we have done, it will beautifully give you the summary, problem, and solution along with the documents which the AI has used as a reference in a list, and the sales team can just quickly use these 2, 3 points to create a quick pitch and send, which is relevant. And we could also later provide some context on the client that, okay, the client is in this domain, please tweak the summary accordingly so that it can give you a relevant information for the client. So this is the agent we have built. I can go into detail later after we come on the process. And I think this helped us a lot. The initial POC took us almost, I think, 2 to 2.5 weeks, and the cost, I would say, we just used OpenAI, some cost, I think $15 something. The initial calls which we made, it costed us that much only, plus a 3 weeks man month of one developer, and we were able to actually demonstrate, okay, we can do this further. Now we have scaled to almost complete all of our projects, and this is very efficient for us, saving a lot of time in terms of making a right pitch to our customers. Yeah, and I would say more than an AI agent, it is actually a RAG model. So we are also saving a cost. We are not deploying our own models. We just use a RAG tool and then created embeddings, and then of course use these language models to create these summaries eventually. So, but all this took us 3 weeks, I would say, potentially for the first iteration. Of course, we are keeping it moving ahead, improving on an ongoing basis. Then, of course, preparing the scope of work based on the detailed project understanding what we got. So we used AI to create scope of work immediately using the transcript generated minutes of the meeting and the custom prompts or custom information which the sales team has. So and we also provided our sample scope of work document already. So we already have a quick scope of work ready, and then we used to send it like after just like maybe few reviews. So our time of response of sending the first understanding, that also reduced quickly. Yeah, and then of course there are some iterations, and based on the final scope of work, we then come to actually starting to evaluate the effort and time and cost in terms of estimations. And this is where we thought that, okay, we have a lot of data, we have done a lot of projects, so we know how much we estimated and how much we actually were able to deliver it to. Like if we estimated 5 months of a project, and eventually it took us 6 months probably. So then we know that our estimations are not right. So, but we had all these data available. So first is data was available, and then we also have some relevant information which we need for a case by case basis to prepare a right response or a right estimation. So we created an AI agent for us, and how we started that, before creating an AI agent, we just used little ChatGPT to give some information that, okay, I have these team members available. This is their experience, probably a number of years, and a brief summary of the scope document or the scope of the project, and ask the AI, how much do you think that, okay, this team will require to deliver such kind of a project? And we got some responses. And in meanwhile, parallelly, we asked our team to, why don't you evaluate? So we got that, okay, in general, what AI thinks that it would take effort wise, and what my team is thinking. Like what we found out of that, there was a huge gap. So my team was always like saying that, okay, it will take more time But then, of course, we didn't go back and refuted that, but we figured out there is a gap. So how can we improve these estimations first, which are manually also coming? So are there any gaps? We figured out, yes, there were some gaps and we were able to reduce. Now what we have done is we have collated all the historic data of our past projects. Okay, we have detailed resourcing available. So of course we have a separate tool. We just fetch the available team for the project for the duration, and with their experiences, we combine that up with the scope of work and we give it to our AI agent, and eventually it gives us a project estimate without going to our team manually. So right now the tool is also evolving. So still we are doing a manual check. As I said, don't trust exactly what the AI tool is giving at the first move. So what we're going back to our team manually and asking and checking if there are gaps or not. So I would say in like 4 months, our gaps have reduced considerably. Now closer, like we are coming closer where our AI agent is almost giving the same estimations as our development team. They improved their understanding, that reducing the gaps in their understanding, and we improved the efficiency of our AI agent as well. So our estimations got, I would say, quicker. So that was taking normally a huge time, because figuring out the time of all the team to estimate a project, which probably is very complex at times, it itself takes weeks, but now it takes days just to review and all. So this is where we came up. And then uh, what else? Yes, pre-putting proposals. I'm sure that most of you will be using some tools to create detailed proposals and all. And we already, as I said, we already have template proposals. Mostly Gemini work for like very well for us. And of course, presentation. I'm sure you'll be using some tools, but they are a case-to-case basis. So this is why we have done. And what is the outcome? I would say we were able. The first thing which we were able to do is custom pitches for clients. I think this was my thought way back, that why don't we provide the right information to the right person, because I have that information, but the point is the person who is working, probably that person is not. So our AI agent was able to help us with delivering custom pitches for our clients. In all, I would say 40% reduction in our response time, and this helped us grab some projects way before the competitors, because sometimes the clients just want to close and move ahead with the process, and we were actually lagging behind. So 40% time for us in like last 6 months, I would say it was a huge gain. Then, of course, quicker ballpark figures, and they are also improving day by day. So these were the quick outcomes of these exercises. I think this is where I will stop. And yeah, I think anything else, I think in the question and answer, I will be able to cover. Oh, back to Vidushi,
Wow.
please.
Wow, Nilesh, that was literally like a master class on how to problem solve and how to, analyze where to put AI, how to put AI. And I think some very important insights that people don't take into consideration when they want to adopt AI is, you have to get your processes right and you have to put in a lot of data. So if the more and better prep work that we are able to do before is, the better our outcomes from the AI tools will happen. So that is very critical, with people, sort of take for granted, or don't really put in the
Right.
effort of doing.
Vidushi,
But yeah,
can
I
I
think
share one more point? So I
absolutely.
think yeah, Vijay, thank you. I think there's one side effect of all this process. So what happened, because the entire team was evolved, it was not pushed down to their throat that you have to do this. Now the thought has improved. Like everyone, when they have tackle a problem, they think that, okay, is there a solution available which I can use through maybe just some simple Google search. They figured out new tools and trying out things on their own. So I would say the entire thought process that, okay, this cannot be solved, and probably this is not my responsibility to solve. From the point that they are thinking how to use AI to solve their problems. I think that thought and willingness, because probably they were scared of their jobs, that probably I will not be needed, that has gone. So this side effect has helped us a lot. A lot of time we got to know new things, new tools from the team, that they are saying, okay, we are using it. Can we now include for others? But earlier it was pushed, okay, this is the tool, you have to use this and tell us what is the outcome of it. So the side effect was the AI first thought of the team, which earlier was not there for us. So that is a very beautiful side effect of this entire process, involving everyone in the process from the beginning. Yeah, thanks.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting, Nilesh. Thank you so much. And I'm seeing that, there's almost a barrage of questions coming in the chat. So perhaps I'll just go with one last question to the two of you, and then we can start taking up the audience questions. Very simple. What are some tips that you would like to give for leveraging AI in marketing, especially the scenario of small to medium-sized organizations who have limited budgets but still want to maximize the impact of their business development efforts, especially for selling internationally?
So,
So, Hasni, why don't you go first?
well, it will differ a lot from organization to organization because the important thing is to understand your buyer journey and again your branding touch points, which are the touch points where you are getting a vast amount of interactions, because to build that AI solution, there needs to be kind of quite a lot of stuff happening there. And I gave some examples. It could be top of the funnel, like before somebody becomes a lead, when you're just trying to optimize your ads. Or it could be that you're trying to optimize your interaction with them through using an AI-based agent. So, which is the right point for, I think, all the 120 or 125 people on the call. The points are likely to be quite different. Somebody may be dealing with a lot of CRM data and a lot of challenges there. Somebody else may be dealing with a challenge to create content, to keep up with competition, to create that volume, and may require all the help on the content generation side. Someone else may require help on the social listening side. Now, social listening obviously is relevant only to a brand where there is a lot of buzz about the brand, because if you're a very niche B2B brand and not too many people are even mentioning you on social media, then you don't need a listening tool. So while I would say that it will have to be based on mapping your customer journey, your branding touch points, and deciding where is it that there is a mass of data interactions where you can actually streamline things, or otherwise it's for handling depth of data. Again, I gave you the Google AdWords example, where it's just an ability to make sense of what people are doing on search and what your competitors are doing. So the answer will change a lot from business to business, but I would love to maybe, put my head together with some of you. So I can put my email on the chat, because it will have to be answered like on a, very, very company specific or business specific way. If I can provide some information, I would love to. So I'll just put it here.
Same question to you.
Yeah, I think for small companies, if the budget is a constraint, I would say when you are in the process of identifying the problems and then categorizing it, I think please focus on the problems which can be solved using existing tools. So that is a much better approach. And I think even if, let's say, you yourself as an owner or a project head, you are willing, please check your team's willingness. Even if you provide the tool, they might not use it or they might use it wrongly, right? So if you're a smaller organization, focus on available tools, probably free or even with some, cost. But I think starting that would be the first step. Don't think that you would have an AI agent available at you at the first place or probably a 1 month after. I think you will definitely be able to identify some problems which can be solved, but don't go with the larger chunk or bigger problems in the first go. Once you do it, the confidence will build and eventually you'll be able to have probably some allocation in your budgeting to be able to solve or tackle the start experimenting with this. Otherwise, it will just like feel like I have done some AI, but it didn't work for me. And this is mostly where people end up if they are not thoroughly start with in this manner. Yeah, I think this will probably we would have ended up if we started otherwise.
That's quite true, Nilesh. In fact, I think if we look back into when automation tools and CRM tools really came into the market, the question was, or the problem statement was very similar at the beginning. A lot of people adopted it, but they didn't, take the time to align their teams on how to use it and how to maximize benefit out of it. So there were a lot of people who adopted and then had to leave it. Okay, we got it, we invested the time, but it's not working for us. But it's because you as an organization were not coming together to make the tool work for you. So I think the similar logic now extends to even AI tools.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Let us start with audience questions. Okay. The first one is from Ashika Jain. Can you provide examples of the implementation you made to increase the response rate? Ashika, do you mind telling who you want to direct this question to?
I think that question is for
This
Nilesh because
is,
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
he covered that. And there are actually three
yeah.
questions about response rate.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it is in the
Very
same
hot topic.
timestamp when I was explaining on the theoretical level. They would
Okay.
wanted some examples. So I hope in the examples which I gave, they were clear. If not, I think I can talk about it in detail. Uh, for technical reasons, like in the capacity of everyone's understanding, I am not going into too much details. But if you want details in how we were able to solve one of these problems and what tools we have used, I can also put my mail here, and everyone can directly address it to me, and I'll see if myself or my team can help you answer some of your questions. Yeah,
Wonderful.
is that okay?
Um,
Okay.
how can AI help in level of personalization for nurturing leads? Any thoughts? This is from Sivaram Prakash.
For nurturing leads.
Can AI help for personalization for nurturing leads? Well, either your CRM needs to have the feature. I mean, every CRM actually does have the feature to tell you how the customer, or I mean that prospect, has interacted with you. For example, even what we call marketing automation, which has been around for a long time before AI became so big. Marketing automation basically enables you to make workflows. So for example, you sent an email, 20% of people opened the email, and then they opened your second email and your third email. People who opened your three emails, they are on a different track. The people who did not open any of your emails are on a different track. Maybe you don't correspond with them that often. Maybe you send them a newsletter. So marketing automation has had these capabilities earlier as well. You invited people for a webinar. Obviously, the ones who attended the webinar are on a different track, and the ones who did not are on a different track. So actually, this is marketing automation workflows. But if you look for one which is AI enabled, and slowly, all the tools are going to have AI capabilities inbuilt in them, I think that kind of comes with it. Whether there's a point solution just for lead nurturing, maybe there is. I'm not aware of the name, at least.
Thank you, Suhasini. Nilesh,
Yeah, I think
would you concur, or is anything more you'd like to add?
I think on the similar lines what you mentioned, you said that there would be some tools, but it depends on what level of personalization you need, and most of the CRMs have it. If they don't, then probably they will have eventually. So it actually depends, and I don't have any specific tool right now to share.
Okay. So Vipin asks, what are some good AI video generation tools for B2B explainer videos with good audio too?
So I would say that I'm also struggling to figure out a good one because it's very difficult and it's time consuming at times. So I would not say given up, but probably reduced time to figure out these tools. And the ones they are there, they are actually costing a lot, but our output is not very impressive. Accent is a problem sometimes. The providing the context is the problem. So uh, no like quick solutions for us now. So Ashni, please let me know if you have any.
We tried a few. I don't remember the names right now, but the results were always just that little bit. So we are currently still doing mostly manual production and editing of video. We're just looking at them, we are studying them, and I may have a clearer answer, but a few days later, not right now. I don't have a one single recommendation. My team is evaluating a few right now. That's all I can say. So
Okay. Wow, Harish has a very long question. So it seems like he asked a question to ChatGPT, asking what are the disadvantages of using ChatGPT or AI. And the
Correct.
responses were limited understanding of complex contexts, inaccuracies and misinformation, dependence on data quality, ethical concerns, um, This is very dynamically moving chat
Yeah, I'd like
box.
to jump
Yeah.
in. I'd like to jump in
Yeah,
here.
so views of experts, blah, blah, blah. A lot of oversight, cost, technical challenges.
I'd like to jump in. I've been using ChatGPT since 2022, and I'm finding it works better and better for me as far as writing is concerned. However, I do my own research. I most of the time provide some basic research, some lines, and I say, this is what I want to say, expand on it. I did have an experience just some days ago about how when you do not do your own research, ChatGPT can give you made up nonsense. And I have published a video about that on YouTube. And the reason for publishing that video was specifically for students, for young researchers, because I was asking ChatGPT, give me this based on research. And it was telling me, this is from a Gartner report. This is from one of the famous marketing authors, David Meerman Scott. Yeah, David Meerman Scott. This is said by David Meerman Scott. This is said by Gartner. And when I was trying to check that, I could not find any reference. And then I kept asking ChatGPT, are you making up this stuff? Are you making up this stuff? So that's all there on my video. So yes, there is a problem with hallucination. Do not depend on ChatGPT for research as yet. Do your own research. Make sure that the research is corroborated, but it is very useful for the writing aspects. Do not have to worry about how to, spin out something into a paragraph. You don't have to subscribe to Grammarly. You don't have to like worry about how these 2 points can be linked. It does that for you. However, you have to go through iterations, because I do go through iterations. I do say, no, these two paragraphs they're not gelling. I need a connecting sentence. Sometimes I say, this is very boring. This is blah. I tell ChatGPT, you give everybody the same headline every day, elevate something, elevate this, elevate that. So half my life I spent fighting with AI. But the point I'm trying to make is that do your own research. That's one. Secondly, when it comes to content creation, set your brand standards and train ChatGPT to meet those brand standards. Do not take the first result that shows up.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I think in my presentation, I forgot to mention the problems which we faced while implementing. So I think one of the AI agent which we made was the case studies, like the past case studies, and trying to figure out the summaries. And what happened was a lot of these proposals, they also had financial data. And if a salesperson would just check on, okay, what are the top three high projects grabbed in the last 3 years, it will just spit it out because it has the data. So once we figured out that, okay, that we'll be using it, giving it to probably the team members who are not who don't need to have that information, probably it's not good for us. So then we had to build different filters, access levels, and it was a complex thing. The initial result was okay. So before building out those filters at the data level or the access level, we just make sure that that tool can be only used to a certain level of employees or team members, so that even if they search for that data, because the initial the initial results were showing a lot of information which probably we do not want everyone to know. So this does happen, and what it comes to is this is one, and secondly, all of it which is asked here, that what are the disadvantages, I think most of it can be solved by providing good prompts. So of course, the every model will have a context window that it can only understand so many tokens of data. But I would say in my in general conversation with any model, when I'm trying to, especially because we are talking about content, my prompts are bigger than the actual questions. So the
Yeah.
context is more than the actually what I want. So if the context, the prompts are right, then only the responses will come, will be meaningful. And of course, research I generally don't trust, and which is very rightly said by Suhasini. But I would say all the disadvantages can be limited by the level of accuracy or level of how good your prompts are. So please
Right.
learn prompt engineering, even if a small bit video if you want to see, and please try it out. It will surprise you how better results you will get out of any of the models that you're using. Yeah.
One tip that got and I use very frequently when I want an output for something that I'm not able to give a very good initial input besides a very small question. I put my ask as simple as possible, and then I ask ChatGPT, ask me 10 questions to improve your understanding before you give me an answer. So it actually gives me 10, 15, whatever appetite I have in answering questions. And that actually helps me realize, oh, this is also an information I should have provided. This is also something I need to think about. And when I actually provide all of that information, the responses that I get back, whether it is in terms of writing an article or a piece of content or checking some data and getting back to me with resources, it usually comes out a lot better. Because exactly as you both have said, providing more context is
No,
key, and that's
absolutely.
not
It's
something
like
that comes naturally to us.
it is exactly like telling an intern to do some work. The intern probably is very, very smart, but if you don't give instructions, because that intern will
Yeah,
not have any experience. So if you tell the person very, very like documentally, this is what you have to do, this is are your references, and come back to me, probably will give you surprise you with the result. With ChatGPT or any other model is like that, Gemini, Copilot. If you give them clear instructions, what you want, how you want it to be done, probably he'll surprise you with the outcome. And if the interns you'll ask, okay, do this. They don't have any contact, they don't have any experience. They will come with gibberish and probably justify you also, which happened with Rasini, that okay, this is the right output. So that does happen. Consider ChatGPT or any other model which you're using, especially for content and any other thing. I think as an intern, smart intern, fresh out of college, good with enthusiasm, be ready to do lot many things. But if you don't provide good information to start with, they will not be able to produce results.
absolutely. Moving on to our next question. Shashank Agrawal asks, is AI ready enough to make actual phone calls and handle basic sales conversations to qualify a lead before an actual salesperson takes over?
Uh, So I have a few, like I know few companies, startups who are working towards that. Uh, it is not 100% there, and I don't think it will be at that level where 100% you'll be able to, say yes or no to a particular client based on the information you are getting just by using an AI call agent. But right now, the technology is where these agents, or calling agents, are being used to filter out the ones and capture a lot of information. I'll give you a use case. There is a company, they are basically using it to automate the calling feature for this insurance companies, because there are a lot of dropouts on their website at different levels, before payment, before, after filling the form, name, probably uploading documents, and they were not able to call everyone. So this company is trying to solve that. After this bulk of information, they were just calling and capturing all this information, which could be a simple form. So it depends where we are, but I would say, in my experience right now, I am closely watching this space. I'm working with few startups we are ourselves building a debate moderation agent with a client of ours. And we know the complexities. We are nowhere there. I think it will take some time till we are able to say that B2B sales or B2C sales also, you are able to qualify it yes or no. Yes, you can use it to capture more information. Yes, you can use it to, maybe have a quicker response, because somebody who calls first will get the lead eventually. So those kind of things you can tweak, but not 100%, not right now. Or if it is Indian, in the Indian context, the models which are available, having an Indian accent English is again something very difficult. So
Yeah,
having US English, British English, kind of good models are coming in, but otherwise it's difficult. That's my experience. Yeah, please.
Suhasini.
Yeah, I have a very interesting scenario. So I use, if I have an AI tool that can do the sales call, and you have an AI tool that is able to receive calls, right? So my AI talks to your AI, and finally I just get a PO and I just get the contract and millions of dollars. Nobody has to do anything. So
And then some AI will also deliver the project, and we can all go to Goa and relax.
yeah, I don't know where does it end, because a conversation is finally about two people who can take a decision. So I'm not saying I'm skeptical, because I've seen so many things in AI. AI learns very fast. I mean, 5 or 6 years ago, we will all remember we would drive using Google Maps and we would land up in a ditch. We would be like just following instruction, and we would literally land in a ditch because we were going round and round. And today you see where Google Maps has taken us. We cannot drive without. So it learns very fast, it improves very fast. So I'm not saying it will never happen. But the whole thing about a sales call, that to a B2B complex sales call, if two AI is talking to each other, then what happens? Who takes a decision and where does this conversation go? It is going to be interesting to watch.
I think, yeah, until the AI sits on your money, the decision will be yours. So humans will be, I think there will be a time probably it will happen, but I think we are very insecure as species, so we will not let go of the most precious thing right now, which is of course money. So where the money is decision have to be made, manual intervention will be needed as of now, especially when the ticket size are larger. In B2B case, it does. Yeah.
I don't want to extend, but the financial domain and the investment domain is also using AI. So when you talk about money, these are the guys who are making the big investments and they are using AI. So AI is already in your money.
Correct.
Okay.
But
KK
for us,
Gupta
it will
has
take
a
time.
question for you, Nilesh. Sorry, I'm really sorry.
Okay.
KK Gupta has a
No,
question
no,
for you,
please.
Nilesh. As a freelancer and a normal developer, how can I use AI to take care of marketing aspect where I don't have a team to work for me?
So I think if you are a one person army, then it will, like, rather than creating tools, I would say use existing tools. That would be better strategy. But creating a tool will will take your time, a lot of time, and probably because you are a one man team, you may or may not be able to afford that time luxury for yourself. As I said, any POC for us only were able to give some good yes or no results, whether we should proceed or not, after 3 weeks of extensive work. So if you can afford such work, then only think of creating your own tools. But uh, I think figure out different tools for marketing. Uh, I think this is what my say would be. Don't create your own tools. Figure out tools and then go ahead. Marketing tools, of course, Rashni will be able to give you more insight on what kind of marketing
No,
tools you.
so what I'd like to say is, let's think about the strategy first. Because what happens, I don't know, this is a thing that I see, in India, we love technology and we are very good at technology. Technology is our, I don't know, it's our strong suit. So I often see that the tool comes before the strategy. And if you are a very small company, if you are a single person business, uh, I would like to ask you, like, have you really thought about your marketing strategy, maybe your positioning, maybe your, as I said, have you mapped your customer journey? Have you mapped your brand touch points? Because then you yourself will know, okay, these are where I'm really, not able to handle it and AI can help, because AI will not be able to help if those things are not in place. So that's what I would say, that let the basics be in place first. It's like, you can't do, like, it's like saying, I am very good with Adobe Photoshop, but I don't know which two colors go together because I've not read about colors. So it's the same thing. We shouldn't put tools before the basics. Again, in this case, that's my suggestion. That technology is great, but let the marketing be sorted out before that, the marketing strategy.
100%. 100%. Okay. Imran has a question. AI generated content is clearly visible to an audience that it is not built by human and naturally doesn't create organic responses. How do we mitigate this? How do we create or add a human touch or a human element to our content? So, Hasini, maybe you would want to take that up?
Yeah. So, see, the thing is that, first of all, you decide what you want to say. For example, you want to write a post that is a tribute to your mother. Then you write 1 or 2 lines about what your mother meant for you. You can take the pain out of the spelling and the grammar and the phraseology, by taking ChatGPT's help. But I think that is something that you should say. Second thing is, like I said, keep asking until it says what you are trying to say. So, the reason I use that word elevate, because every day I see this word elevate in headlines, in social posts, in ad copies. And I just say it's some lazy person who has taken the first result that ChatGPT has given, because elevate and unleash are in there in every headline given by ChatGPT. So I always tell ChatGPT, do not give me elevate. You've already given elevate to 1 million people today. That's, like I said, I keep fighting with it all the time. So what I'm trying to say is that you have to refine the results by saying that, no, I was trying to make it a little more playful. No, I was trying to make it a little more, somber. I was trying to make this very, very heartfelt. And at the end of it, you may still not get it. You may have to change a few words. Sometimes changing just a few words will make it yours. But yeah, you have to make it yours. So start by expressing what you want to say. When I want to write a blog article, I will say, here are 10 points that I have found in my work and now write a blog article on this. Otherwise, the same blog article anybody can publish. So those are the ways to make it yours. You need to use it to be able to optimize your time. You need to use it to be able to consistently publish content. And content is a very important aspect of marketing, but make it yours by providing those lines and by refining the results.
I guess don't make it do your thinking, just make it do your writing and expression.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. I think there are two questions which we could probably club. Manoj Kumar asked, what are the key factors to consider for starting AI usage in B2B lead generation? And Ashika also asked, what are some tried and tested tools that you guys use every day? So maybe we could club these two in the B2B lead generation context.
So one of them, I
First,
mean,
you
it
want to quit?
depends on what lead gen channels you're using, because there is a lot of different channels for lead gen. So when we talk about lead gen, we talk about, for example, search engine optimization. We talk about, webinars. So webinars, like we are not using any AI tools there. If you're talking about Google Ads, I gave an example with Inaways, which is an effective tool for SEO. SEO is going to change because of AI, because now the results themselves are coming from AI. And Search GPT, everyone's waiting for what Search GPT will have, because Search GPT may actually challenge Google. That's something that we're waiting to see how it will work.
Right.
So we need to track, but at the moment it looks like good content is the same requirement. Good content with good context is what the search still requires. So depending on what lead gen channels are working for you, because for some businesses, email is working really well. Somebody put on the comment Apollo.io. Yeah, Apollo.io is a pretty decent email marketing tool, and it is very AI based. It's a little erratic. I find it a little erratic, but yeah, it will settle down in some time and it may work well for you. So the tool that you use will be based on what lead gen channels are working the best for you. If it's webinar, I don't recommend any tools. If it's email, you could look at Apollo.io, and there are a few others. If it's video, people mentioned a few video production tools. If it's CRM, I did mention the tool Canlet that will help you to keep track of contacts. So it depends on what lead gen is working for you.
Yeah, and I think just I want to cover on the B2B lead generation, because there are two types of B2B lead generation. One is through inbound, where you try to get your inbound leads, and one is outbound, when you reach out to people and try to generate leads from there. For us, mostly we use outbound, reach out for lead generation. And one of the things which we have done, and this I think is general for all of you, because most of the time we think that there is a tool which can solve our problems, but rather what we have figured out is, if we try to figure out an intelligent, smart way of solving a problem, and then try to see, okay, what tools can aid me in solving that problem. I'll give an example. So like for us, mostly our clients are big conglomerate, funded companies and all. So what we have done, we thought, why don't we go to Clutch, find out our competitors, go to their websites, what are their potential clients, and why don't we try to scrape some data and figure out, probably there are some good matches for us. But to implement it, it was very, very difficult. So we thought, we initially built a simple scraper, like data scraper, but it was giving us a lot of gibberish data, which have to manually filter out and get some insight. So what we have done, we have thought, okay, why don't we just give some context with this data and some AI and figure out, these are the keywords I want, these are the kind of companies probably you should look for. And now we have a refined. So I would say, like, even if, I think 3-4 days after, for competitors, the kind of competitors, clients which we were looking, we had 400 plus companies listed with us, which could be potential clients for us. And then we use another tool to scrape out the information, like Apollo or somebody is something else, to figure out their phone and email ID, and started to reach out to them. So I would say, figure out the solve the problem and see how AI tools, like available AI tools, can help you solve these things, rather than finding a tool to solve the entire problem. I think finding an approach, experimenting it with existing tools will give you better results, rather than just exploring some random tools which are using different processes all the time to probably solve not exact problem what you're looking. So that approach will help. I think this will answer. Probably one more person was asking. I think Ramaswamy
Kish
was
had
saying.
a very
So
similar question that, how do you get started? How do you reach for a bunch of engineers? How do you get started? I think that is a
yeah,
very good answer for him, Ankish too.
and do not. Yeah, I think right now AI engineers, prompt engineers are probably out of reach to most of us. So, but you don't need. I would say that when we started, we had a good full stack developer. We gave him a smart person, gave him a smart problem. Why do your own research? After 2 weeks, come back. What you find? And to our surprise, he was very excited. Okay, now I have some official bandwidth to experiment on things, and he came up with some results. And there was of course plus minus, but we knew that with some training, with some additional resources, this person will be able to deliver. So I would say a 3+ years of experience, full stack, good developer was able to surprise us with the results. So you don't need to look for probably an AI consultant to hire at full time. One more thing, in our network, we find out who are the people who are doing a lot of AI startups and all. We ask them, can you consult us to solve this problem? And this is our guy to do the manual work. So we booked a 1 hour schedule for these consultants, probably at some cost. So in a month, we had 4 hour discussion with a consultant. And for implementation, we have a 3 year plus backend full stack developer. And this was our first POC, I would say. So if you're thinking about, I will hire an AI engineer in-house, don't do that. Probably you don't need it right now. Start with this and you will be surprised the kind of results which you will get. Yeah. And reach out to
Wonderful.
these AI company startup CEOs. I think they are more than happy to help if they can. So please don't hesitate, but have a very clear ask. Why do you want to reach out? They will be able to help
Okay.
out. Yeah. Thanks.
I see Jagriti has popped up on the screen, which means we are at time. I'm sorry if there are some questions that we have not been able to take, but thank you so much to both our amazing panelists. I think it has been a fantastic conversation, and you guys have been very honest, very candid, and very open with your insights and your experiences. And I'm quite sure our attendees are leaving this discussion inspired to rethink their marketing strategies. And we wish you guys all the success. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'd
Thank
just
you
like to
so
say,
much. Thank you,
I just like
Vidushi.
to
Thank you,
sorry.
Suhasini and Nilesh. Sorry to cut you, Suhasini. Please continue.
I just like to say thank you very much once again to NASSCOM, Jagriti, to Vidushi. It was lovely to meet you, Nilesh, and exchange ideas with you. Thank you to the panelists. And I'd love to stay in touch with all of you as we continue this journey of learning more about AI and marketing. So please drop me a line on LinkedIn. If you come across any good tools, and if you would like me to suggest something, drop me a line because I can then do a little bit of research and give a more considered recommendation. I would not like to just recommend right now. I may or may not even remember the right name, but I would love to help. So do feel free to drop me that line and that request.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Suhasini. Thank you, Vidushi, for giving in your time. And thank you, Suhasini and Nilesh, for a fantastic session that, I do second with Vidushi on what she's, kind of saying. And thank you, participants. I'm just dropping an email in the chat box, my email. If you have any questions that you want to ask, Nilesh or Suhasini, you can just write to me as well, if not directly to them. So that we are also in touch in terms of the as a facilitator, and the video will be posted on the NASSCOM SME Connect portal on YouTube. So as and when it is done, we'll share a link with everyone on that. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for your
Okay.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You.
Thank
Vidushi.
you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Suhasini.
It was
Thank
a
you,
pleasure.
Nilesh.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Vidushi, Suhasini, and Jagriti. Please take care. All the
Thank
best,
you.
everyone, with your AI
Happy
implementations.
Diwali to
Let us know
everyone.
how can
Happy
we help.
Diwali to
Happy
everyone.
Diwali.
Happy
I
Diwali.
wore
Bye.
this
Happy
Diwali
Diwali.
color and I forgot to say Happy Diwali.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.